ladies and gentlemen, according to my phone, it is 4:15. And I'd like to call this meeting to order, the Monday, December 2021 meeting of the Library Board of Trustees. I will say that we do have a quorum, but I will go through the roll to make sure that everyone is here and they have their materials. So let me begin. Sally.
I am here and I got everything, I think.
Okay, good. Marvin.
Present with all materials.
Alan?
Mr. Rachel.
I'm here with materials.
Terry?
Here and yes.
John?
I'm here and I have my materials.
Anne?
I'm here and I have my materials.
And I am also here with my materials.
Excuse me. Would we, can we all wear masks?
Uh,
I mean, if you don't have to, you don't want to, but if not, maybe I'll just go to a different room and I can.
Oh, no. I would be happy to put my mask
I mean,
on
we
as
are
long as you
indoors.
can hear me clearly.
Oh,
Be
I hear
happy
you
to
fine.
do it.
Thanks. I
Okay.
appreciate it. I'm sorry. I just feel more comfortable.
So we are all accounted for and all masked. Okay, with that, you did receive the board minutes and I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments, or corrections? Hearing none, I will go through the approval. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Anne,
Aye.
and I also approve. With that, we will move to the director's report. Deb?
Thank you. I believe Jenny's on this call. She's going to start with statistics and patron engagement. Are you there, Jenny?
I am here. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. And so I think you all should have received the report, and I'll just go over a few details because so this report captures a little bit of the impact of Maine libraries reopening. So we're starting to see the leading edge of that as the second half of the month did have Maine being reopened. So you do see a rise in both circulation and gate count. Although it's interesting that actually at all of the branches, we saw increases in gate count throughout November. So that was an encouraging thing, that it wasn't just Maine Library, but we saw an increase across the system. We also saw increases in new card holders as well as in our active card holders. And I'm just pointing it out because it's very nice to say we're seeing a lot of increases across the board. And that just because of COVID, that hasn't always been the case. So it's a really promising thing. As far as significant increases, both Wi-Fi and then reference questions, which again, I think is attributed to the reopening of the Maine Library. Another piece that I wanted to point out is on page 3, and this is Inactive patrons re-engaged. And you can see that we had about 700 patrons re-engaged, and it's still labeled as Keller Park, but it's Maine Library. And so this is sort of indicating some of the efforts that we're making in order to get patrons who may not have been using their card either during COVID or when the Maine Library was closed, so that they can kind of come back and start using their card again. So I think hopefully we will continue to see numbers in that particular graph continue to increase over time. But so those are the highlights. There is one, hopefully you will get a new report, or we can make sure you have one sent to you, but there is one error in the North Liberty circulation stats. I think on the report that you may have received, North Liberty circulation was not 20,000, which is comparable to Maine Library. It was 1,800. So that was just one small thing, but it didn't influence any of the other numbers. So that is what there is to report for this. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions?
I have a question. The cardholder retention number, is that a good number or a bad number compared to libraries of this size?
It is a good number in when you take into account libraries of our both our budget and our population size. So it's pretty decent. I would say it's not. I think we want to increase that number. So it's not a place that, we're resting on our laurels that we're doing fairly well compared to other libraries. I think we want to see that number in particular increase because it does represent people who have gotten a library card and then have continued to use the library and found value in their library. So that I think is a particular number that we're paying attention to. So I'd like to see it increase to, I'm optimistic and ambitious, so I would like to see that at 100%. But I think we do notice that it is really good in comparison to other libraries of our size.
Thank you. Other questions? I'll be very interested to see next month's numbers to see what one full month of the Maine library open, because it seems like there are people here, and I've been here not just for board meetings, but it seems like there's just more people here all the time. Thank you.
So thanks, Jenny. In other news, this week, most of the Learning Center spaces should be just about finished. We expect Billy and Andrews to be on the site until early to mid-January. And then Jackson, who's running the job right now, is going to transition to the Art Museum project at Notre Dame. So that leaves him nearby and able to return for things that we're still waiting for. And some of those are fabric wrap panels. Those are the acoustical panels in several spaces in the Learning Center. We're putting replacement carpet in the Buter Kernan event space. There were imperfections in that carpet, and so they're going to redo the whole thing. It was a custom order. The cafe finishes are still in progress. And then there are punch list items. And then finally, they'll do the courtyard planting in the spring. We're past the time where we can safely plant a lot of the perennials and the more tender plants. So that'll finish up in the spring, but all the hardscape is pretty well done. We're going to be opening the Learning Center to public bookings on January 10th, and the Community Foundation will also move into their new space just around that time. So we're very close. Although we talked about doing a second ribbon cutting for the annex in late January, we're kind of thinking that it might be better to wait until spring when all the plantings are in the courtyard before we do it, and the weather will be better and we can have people in the courtyard. So there's no big hurry. And we like the idea of having all the spaces truly finished before we do that event. So we're looking at maybe April when it should be pretty. In other news, the Osha rule for mandatory vaccines and testing was upheld with the appeals court over the weekend. Because we employ over 100 employees, that rule applies to us. So we will begin implementation of the mandates in order to comply. We're working on that right now. We'll have that rolled out. I think this week, Kara? Yeah. Most of we are 90% vaccinated. So it's the 10% who probably aren't that will be subject to the rule.
What is the rule again?
Rule is mandatory vaccination or weekly testing or in order to be employed by us. Again, in other news, we've been under audit for a good portion of the year, and I am very pleased to announce that we had a completely clean audit. So thanks to Kelly and her team and Nancy Corporal, it was a really good audit. Once we get the final report, we'll include that in a future board packet, but we just did the exit conference. And this is the first time I think that the state has been using outside audit firms. So we had Crow do our audit this time. And just today, we got the paperwork for Terry Rensberger's reappointment to the board. So congratulations, Terry.
Thank you.
You're in for another 4 years.
Glad to be back. I still have to get sworn at, right?
You still have what?
Get sworn at
Yes.
today
Yes.
sometime.
Kelly's got the paperwork, so she'll swear at you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Deb?
Update on the implementation of the
Non-resident fees?
non-resident use. So the people that are, for those people that are other library systems in St. Joe County that we have an agreement with, could you explain a little bit about where we are from the standpoint of educating the public?
Sure. The news about going fine-free, which is the first piece of this, went out in our Unfold. And in January, that information will be brought in. Plus, we have posters all over the system, so that information is going out. The new card types will begin with an email to every one of our reciprocal borrowers. So that's going to reciprocal borrowers only, because those are the folks that are impacted with the card type. And then we'll also go wide on social media. Jenny's on, and I'll ask her to speak in a minute too. And I've talked to the directors at Mishawaka Public and at New Carlisle, and they both are totally understanding of what we're doing, understand why we're doing it, and are willing to support us moving forward. So I don't know if that gives you enough, Alan, but
Well, so is it, so January 1, so in 2 weeks, anybody that comes into the library that's card holder at for example, Mishawaka and Carlisle, that asks for a reciprocal card is going to be charged for it.
yes,
But is that on our website yet?
not yet. If they come in, these are only new card holders,
I understand.
right? So that, Jenny, when are we rolling that out?
The information about guest cards will go on, it's going to go on the like how information about a library card page. And that's going to get updated probably in the next few weeks. So it'll be right before the January 1 date. And that'll just appear as, updated information on, library card types and some information like an FAQ on what that all means. We are sending a mailing out to those reciprocal card holders, and that's should go out to the printer tomorrow or the next day. So that'll go out pretty soon. And then, like Deb mentioned, there'll be the start of a few emails will be in that early January space to just, we're trying to get everyone's, the information from as many different channels as we can so that hopefully we will reach somebody before they get to a service desk. And then we will continue to reach out to current reciprocal card holders until that June date. But for new people who are coming in and they live out of our service area and they're looking to get a library card, we're really looking at the website and then our public service staff as sort of the interface for getting them the information they need. We will have a handout available at the service desk. So if someone does come up and they have questions, whether they're a current reciprocal card holder or a new individual looking to get a card, they'll have something that they can take away to be able to digest the information a little bit better.
The reason I'm asking is somebody actually asked me about it, and I didn't know it was out there. So I was trying to figure out where the information came from.
Ask you about the charges or the fine?
Asked me if I heard that basically, it was not an exactly accurate depiction, but it was something about, they don't get to get, if they have to pay for it. I don't know exactly what it was. So then I immediately went to our website, tried to figure out where it was that something was out there. But am I correct that there's really nothing out there?
It's not public yet, so it would have.
And then do we have you all going to do a frequently, you were going to give us something.
Yes.
As after January 1st, just what exactly is our?
We've got it.
Just like you all did with the
Yeah.
app and everything else, so we can.
We've got a very detailed FAQ that we're using for our staff training. Whether or not you want all of that, I don't know, but I think we'd be happy to send it to you.
It'd be nice to have
Be nice to have.
simple.
Yeah.
And then if you have
Yeah.
simplified one too, if you have one
Yeah.
with staff, that'd be helpful.
We'll do.
I know that I overheard people talking about it, so the word's out.
Yeah, the word seems to be out, so.
It might have come out from other directors.
Well, we have 150 employees, so they talk too. you
Well,
know.
And it could be coming from the directors of the other libraries that are affected.
It could be, but I just talked to those folks recently,
Okay.
so I don't think it's wide yet. Yeah,
This was things 2 weeks ago.
yeah. I wouldn't have talked to a director by now.
No, okay.
It'll be helpful for us if we can get, if you give it up to staff already, especially want to send it to us.
Yeah, will do.
Other questions? With that, I would accept a motion to approve the director's report.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, I'll do the call. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and I also approve. Moving to the library bill list, Kelly, you are on.
We had
$3,238,642 in this month's bill list. 968,000 of that was for construction-related costs. 145,000 was for the final move from Keller Park with Hallett. We had about $10,000 that went to Pathfinders for the website for phase 2 and some other expenses. And our semi-annual bond payments were made as well, 862,000 in bond for our 3 bonds in interest and principal. Are there any questions on any of the other?
No questions? Should we can approve the bill list? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Many seconds. No questions. We'll go through the roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and I understand we have 2 donations. Oh, okay. I know there was from Temple Bethel, I believe, and Hammerschmidt. One was 1,000 and one was 2,000.
I move we accept the gift from Temple Bethel, Kurt and Jesse Simon, Fund for Holocaust Remembrance, the amount of $1,000 and a $2,000 gift from Hammerschmidt. And
We have a motion,
So moved.
second.
Second. I'm sorry.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I will go through the roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and I also approve.
The Temple Bethel, I see it's restricted. What is that actually, $1,000 actually for? That's Holocaust.
Lisa's not here today, and she would be the one to tell you that.
So it must have to go into a specific fund.
It's probably earmarked for a certain project, is what that would be.
Yes, and it might be Holocaust remembrance. It might be a certain fund. Okay, thank you. Moving on to Kelly, the rest of your reports are in the action part of the agenda, so we'll get to them when we get to the action part of the agenda. So we will move on to personnel changes at this point.
Yes, and we have a much shorter list this month. We're just 2 I want to mention. We're pleased to bring Scott Sandberg on board as the new research librarian. Scott has an academic background. He was most recently at IU Northwest, but he's making the transition to public libraries. And he'll be responsible for a lot of our in-depth questions and services. And then I also wanted to let you know about Deb Wiseman's retirement. Deb has been a gardener for a number of years, and with a background in horticulture, it's been really nice to have her on board. But also retirements at the same time are a chance to think about new possibilities. So we have some time before the next growing season to sort of sort this out and think about how we want to move forward. So, other than that.
Any questions for Deb?
Just one.
Yeah.
A few minutes ago, you mentioned 150 employees. I haven't looked at those numbers in a long time. Does that include full-time equivalent?
Yes,
Okay.
we're probably actually over 150. We're at 160.
156 actual employees. I don't have the full-time equivalent committed to memory, but I could get that for you.
It changes all the time, Terry. We're at about 130 FTEs. And then actual, and that is still substantially down from where we were at our highest.
And really, that was the direction my question was going. Back a year, 2 years, what has been the trend? It certainly must be down because we're.
It's way
budget,
down.
But, okay.
Before the big recession in 2008, we were at well over 200. So, and we have kind of been trimming ever since. I mean, there are things that we're taking on that are new and other things that we don't do anymore. So I thought we actually were over 160. We'd still have some vacancies that we're filling too.
No, I'm sorry. It's 170.
See, I
Yeah,
thought we were,
I'm so
when you
sorry.
said 156, that
It
didn't
was at
sound like enough.
156 for a very long time. It's at 172.
Okay. our high was 240 in about 2008.
And all of this was through attrition?
Yes. The only layoffs we've ever done were in the middle of COVID when we had shelvers and we just didn't have anything to shelve. And so we laid off about 16 people in mid 2020. Some of those got called back once we reopened and we had shelver positions. Some of them did not, but those are 10 to 16-hour positions for the most part.
Okay. Did we have a move to approve personnel change? Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. Roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ann.
Aye.
Thank you, and I also approve. To the best of my knowledge, there were no special library committee meetings, and so there are no reports of special library board committees. And I do not believe there is any unfinished business. So we will move to new business, and we will start with our change orders for Maine Library. I see Antonia is here. Will you go through those change orders, please?
I will, thank you. We had 8 change orders this time period. The first one was from Goff for some Bully and Andrews and owner directed drywall modifications for $25,066. For Herman and Getz, there were 3 changes. One, owner directed electrical modifications, some site work repairs, and also the courtyard planter GFCIs. That overall cost was $22,230. For Larson Danielson, there were 3 changes. One for the 3rd floor framing, which was a city directed change for $2,623. There were a few general trade items directed by the owner for $11,916. And then there was some door schedule modifications, which was a later change, an earlier change in 2020 that we are currently adjusting for $10,936 for overall change for Larson Danielson for $25,475. Larson Danielson millwork, there was some additional costs to furnish some additional wood for the porch at the children's theme area for $3,923. For Midland, there is a bag charge for the elastomeric coating at the cupola. That work was performed by Zolkowski. So that credit or that bag charge to them is $4,332. Osteban had a few painting touch-ups throughout the annex space and renovation space for $14,358. Shambhala had a sprinkler adjustment that was changed to remove the ceiling inside of one of our storage spaces for $731. And then Zolkowski had 2 changes. One for the coating at the cupola for $4,659. And they had another set of changes for masonry adjustments for $7,211 for an overall change to Zolkowski for $11,870.
Thank you. Any questions for Antonia? Hearing none, I will quickly run through the change orders. Our first is from Goff for a change of $25,066. Next, Herman and Getz, $22,230. Our first Larson Danielson correction was $12,775. The next Larson Danielson increase was $25,475. There was the Larson Danielson millwork of $3,923. Midland Engineering, we have a credit of $4,332. Oosterbaan and Sons, an increase of $4,358. Shambaugh and Sons, $731. And Zolkowski Construction, $11,870 for a total change order of $112,000, $112,096. I'm willing to accept a motion to approve the change orders.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
Just one.
Okay.
We're probably near enough the end. You can make some pretty fair guesses. Where do you see us falling compared to our original estimates on the whole?
You know, I don't think we're that far off. The last thing that we heard from Antonia was that we still have about 35,000 in the contingency, which means funds that are available for changes. Antonia, do you have a guesstimate of where we're going to end up? Do you think we're very close?
I don't at this time.
It's hard to know.
Close.
Well, if we're within 35,000, I think that's pretty incredible
We're-
considering what inflation has done to
We're
us in
probably
the
going to
last 2
be a little
years.
farther off in the end. There are some changes I think that probably aren't added in yet. For instance, the landscaping. We're negotiating a cost for Fagley to overwinter a lot of the plants because they purchased everything for us and then can't install it. So we're going to pay for storage and harboring of those plants until they can get them in the ground. You know, so there are things that are coming. I don't want to put Anthony on the spot. I don't think there's anything big out there that we don't know about yet, but because it is very close.
Okay, well, the purpose was, people have asked me that because we have touted ourselves as being very fiscally responsible, which I believe we are. And I've given them pretty much that answer, but I thinking in the back of my mind, boy, I hope there isn't a surprise out there. I don't know about, we're gonna find we
Me
overran
too,
like
Jerry.
crazy. So we're okay. Thank you.
And then what's the status of the doors in the new building?
They are going in.
Oh, they haven't delivered, so we got them all?
I don't know that we have, Anthony, do we have them all? Do we have most of them?
I'm sorry, I did not get Alan's question.
Do we have all the doors for the Learning Center yet? I don't think we have them all, but we have a lot of them.
No, we don't have them all yet. They are gradually coming in. We have a few other deliveries coming towards the end of this month and then also the beginning of 2022. And that should be the bulk of those doors. I think that they have maybe one or two that are still hanging out there, but that should be most of them. So
Yeah.
by mid January, that should be most of them for sure.
I'll give you another example, Alan. We just ordered the smart box, didn't have doors. We just forgot to put them in. And so we ordered a set of barn doors that close. It's 20 weeks out for those doors. So they're going to come maybe April by the time we get those. So that's their long lead times on anything that we're getting right now.
Thank you.
Other questions? Okay, did we accept, oh, we did motion and second, so let's do a roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and I also approve. The next one is, the next new business is Maine Library substantial completion, which was included in what was sent to us. Deb, you want to tell us a sentence or two about
Sure.
what it meant?
the substantial completion form done by the architect sets the date that really starts all of our warranties. So all of our HVAC, all of our mechanicals, that is HVAC, everything that has a warranty on it goes from that date. And the date that they've determined is November 12th, 2021. They also have an amount that we still owe on the project. A lot of this is in retainages and end of contract numbers. We still need to reconcile that with them. They're not quite, we're not quite jiving with the numbers from Arcos, but we'll get there. But the date is the important thing in this form.
So the date officially is
November 12th.
November 12th, which was the day we opened.
It was right before we opened. We did the grand opening on the 14th. So we were actually
That's the Friday.
having
before.
events that week, but we weren't formally open to the public. So very close. And we were in the building.
Does this need action?
It just needs approval at acceptance. So you're ratifying what the architect is proposing for the date of substantial completion.
Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve the Maine Library Substantial Completion Resolution.
So moved. Second.
Thank you, thank you. Any questions of Deb? Hearing none. Sally?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Ellen?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Anne?
Aye.
Thank you, and I also approve. Next is Ramsa's additional service requests.
This is the second one of these for the architects, and it's because we are still in the process of finishing up the construction phase, and so the architects are still involved. What I mentioned to you via email was that this should get us through. Some of this work has already been done. They just haven't billed for it. This should get us through November, all of December, and then into January. And once we've exhausted this fee, then they're going to go on a time and materials basis. Again, we're very close to finishing. I don't think there's going to be much left for the architects to do, but we still want them on board as we run down this project. And Terry, to answer your earlier question, this is where we're over. We're over on the fees because we didn't anticipate this. Construction costs are in pretty good control, but some of the fees are over.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to approve Ramsa's additional service request.
So moved.
Second.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. Sally?
Aye.
Marvin?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Anne?
Aye.
And I also approve. All right, moving on to library goals and strategies for the 2022-2023 years. Deb?
Thank you. This is an abbreviated plan from our normal 5-year plans. By state statute, we have to do either somewhere between a 3- and 5-year plan. So this will cover the years 2022 to 2024. For the first time, I think in a long time, we've actually, we've updated our mission statement and we've added a set of values to the plan. And then we have goals and strategies. So just really briefly, there are 5 goals this time around. The first goal, to grow and sustain readers, is something we've had with us for a long time. And I still think it's kind of the foundation of library services. If we can grow a reading community, everybody succeeds. Everybody is lifted. So this has our early literacy and all of the reader services that we do. Second goal is build a stronger community, and we're doing that in a number of ways, by partnering with social services, by doing a lot more outreach, by doing a lot of strong programming. The third goal is spark curiosity to learn, and that's our lifelong learning initiative. So Bethel is folded into that, as well as everything that we're doing in the new community learning center. Expanding access is really making our services available and making sure people know that we have them. So there's a digital component to this. I realize I'm going through this really briefly, but hopefully you've had a chance to look at the plan. And then finally, ensure library sustainability. And this is sort of a back of house goal. This is support services that supports everything that we're doing on the front end. So this is our facilities, our financials, all the things that take place behind the scenes that we want to have as strong as possible. So questions from you, concerns? We've always had broad goals and strategies, and then we work within the actions to really set the plans in place and kind of cement them and deal with the specifics.
I think it's,
I just have a small comment.
Absolutely.
I was glad to see that you moved your early literacy up to grade 3, because that's really the definition of early childhood, and they're certainly still in the early learning, early literacy stages. So I was happy to see that.
Thank you. We agree. We think third grade is pivotal because they're still learning to read by that. We just have to figure out what that looks like as we ramp up those services. So, yeah.
And more now than ever with COVID.
Yes.
We have, we have too many 5th graders reading at the 1st grade level.
Yes. We'd love to find ways to work with the schools, Sally, to do whatever we can to help those scores improve.
That's beautiful. I was wondering about the partnership with SBCSC. That was the kind of the third micro bullet under that. Would love to hear more about that.
We've had some really general discussions. I've talked to Chad Addy a little bit and to Todd a little bit, but I think we want to drill down and get some specifics about what that really is going to look like. And that'll be next year.
Beautiful.
Other comments, questions?
I was, yes, I just want to comment that I think it's great in this environment to be able to work on goals that have value and to really take them to heart. In my old world, we made a lot of them up, but most of them just said, make all the money you can as fast as you can. And that was about it. But this has got, yeah, it's good.
It's I realize this is coming to you at sort of the last possible time when you can adopt it, but it really does have some meat in it, I think. And I think I'm very happy with the direction we're going in.
I'm especially pleased that it's not a 5-inch 3-ring binder that's sitting on the shelf.
Mhm.
This is something that we can see, we can refer to, we can actually implement, and it's being implemented. So
We do
I
work
thank
with
you
them.
all for your work in putting it together.
I've got another question. Just, I mean, I agree with Christine. It's nice that it's as compact as it is. It makes it, one of the beautiful things about plans that are kind of, you can sum up this easily is that I can imagine in future director reports, it would be possible to organize directors' reports around these goals. And maybe you do that. And honestly, that isn't just something I've noticed, Deb. But as a functioning board, it would be nice if directors' reports, went directly to a strategic plan saying this is where we're at with growing readers and this is where we're at with, with these goals.
Sure, we can absolutely do that. What you usually get is a once a year, because a lot of times things don't change that much from month to month. So
Sure.
we do an annual report that's sort of a reflection of everything that's happened in the past year. But if you want to see that more often, I think that's totally doable.
Yeah, maybe even, maybe quarterly or maybe, kind of biannually or something.
Sure.
As somebody who's watched South Bend board meetings for years, I'm astounded that our strategic plan isn't referred to all that often.
Yeah, there's so much that we're doing that correlates directly to what's in this plan that, yeah, but I hear you, Sally. We'll do.
Thank you. So do we have a motion to approve our library goals and strategies for the next 2 or 3 years?
So moved.
Second.
Other questions, comments, discussion? Hearing none. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Anne,
Aye.
and I also approve. Moving back to Kelly, you have pretty much the rest of the agenda. So the next is pay ranges and pay rates.
So we are pleased to put before you a proposal that would offer 3% base increases. We have 162 employees that were eligible for that. So that was anyone who was employed by December 15th. For the 3%, and then we had 110 employees, and there were also 10 substitutes as well. That brings that up to the 170 number, 72 number that Kara referred to. We have 110 individuals that were employed prior to July 1, so they were eligible for performance review. So those folks received a performance review from their supervisors, and their percentages were based where their quartile was and their performance rating, and that was on top of the 3%. We have about 14 individuals that have reached the top of their base rate, so they will receive a combination of bringing them up to their base rate, and then anything overage on that will go into a lump sum payment for them. So the average increase for all these folks that have worked so hard here at the library is 4.34% for an average increase. Some were a little bit below that, and so the ones that were below 3% that you see on that report by category, that was because that group had more individuals that fell into either didn't get a performance increase because they were not employed, or they had more individuals that had more senior years and they had in the library, and they met their top of their scale. So their percentage might be 1% to the base because that brings them to the max, and then the rest is in the lump sum. So if you're wondering why there's some that are a little bit below 3%. So the total cost of this increase, if approved by the board, is a little over $300,000, which includes the costs of the employer-based FICA and the perf costs. Are there any questions about how this was calculated or applied?
Pay for it?
That's the first question. we
Terry's
have.
question is always, yes, can we afford it? Can we pay for it?
We can
Yes.
afford, and sustainability is there for increases even over the next several years as well. I mean, as long as things stay stable, there's a lot of factors that we can't control, but we are certainly well within our sustainability. Kind of based the percentage on our, if you look at the 4.34% average, how I backed into that proposal was using the average growth quotient that comes from the 5-year rolling average of non-farm income, which is given to us by the Department of Local Government Finance, which is the ability we're allowed to raise our increases. This is basically an inflationary factor for our tax increases. So that was a little over 4%. So we backed into that number to come up with how much can we. Yes, sir.
What would this do for morale?
I'm sorry, Mark.
What would this do for morale of your staff?
I'm hoping it'll be a good thing. I think we are not alone in saying that it's been a tough year, in a lot of ways. But I think this is a pretty good raise for most people.
I think my question was, I guess, is more of retention of staff. I think, is that going to help us retain staff?
We're retaining pretty well. Sarah, Kara, do you want to speak to that? We talked about that just this morning.
Doing okay. A lot of people in the world seem to be discontent, but we are holding on to our staff. We haven't noticed any staff leaving for other than reasons of, they were supposed to come back to Maine Library and preferred not to, so they went and sought opportunities elsewhere. So we haven't been getting, while we hear murmurs of, people aren't the happiest, I think, in any job anywhere right now. We're not seeing that in people walking out the door.
Good.
We're happy about that. So we're really looking at people's actions rather than their words right now, because we know it's pervasive, that people aren't feeling their best.
We've also been able to hire some really high quality people as we were gearing up for Maine. And I think for us, that was another sign that we're a good place to work. We're a good employer, and that the people felt like they could leave someplace like Notre Dame and come here, which we gained some from MD. So it's not, I would echo Sarah, it's not a happy time for a lot of people right now for a lot of reasons. but we're holding on.
So you've been able to hold on to really outstanding health care
We have.
package. A lot of places had to reduce.
Our
or cut.
healthcare is, yeah. our
That's
health-
got to be a real plus for
Yeah.
hiring.
Our healthcare is really excellent. Our time, our vacation and sick time benefits are really excellent. We have I just mentioned the EAP, but we have the EAP benefit, which I think has been a help during this time. We get 6 free sessions of counseling on the library side. And so and it's they're just a lot of really good people to work with, and the surroundings. You're not working in a factory. It's heated, it's cold. All of
The
these things.
environment's
So,
excellent.
yeah.
And what you said, Terry, earlier about, these are real goals that people are proud of. I think that really makes a difference here too, is that even if they have a bad day, they know that they're really making a positive impact in their community and with their neighbors. And so they feel really good about that.
I think that's true also, but the packages and so on certainly are attractive when you're particularly looking for somebody. Last year I was where I used to be, we went to a $5,000 deductible, which was real popular.
Wow.
We had to.
I think so far our self-funding has been a huge help for us, I think. And we gave the staff had was it 1% increase in premium cost this year? Is that what their cost went up 1%, which is almost unheard of. But it was a really attractive year.
Well, your experience rate is excellent.
Overall, we're
It's
pretty
every
good. We
year,
have-
I mean, I keep waiting for, what's his name? I want to say Skip, that's not.
Chip.
Chip. Yeah, I keep
Close.
waiting for him to come up with a check, but, all right.
Yeah.
We've had some high claim years, but so far we've managed all of that pretty well. And again, it's a as you say, it's a really good package.
Well, the big ones will, always be there regardless,
Right.
but
We always have some.
we had 80% smokers and 75% overweight, and our experience rate was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah,
You don't have
So
that.
we don't have that.
I'm assuming, rightly so, that the building, also opening this building was a big help.
I think that was a huge lifter for people who work in this building. I suspect the branches aren't quite feeling the same way because the focus has been on Maine for so long.
Mhm.
And we want to go back and sort of start to concentrate on the branches again. But yeah, for here, people were just really excited to be doing this. And I think they still are. They're tired, but they're excited.
Mhm.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will do the roll. Sally? Oh, did we-
Aye.
Wait a second, did we do a motion in a second? Okay,
I
could I
move-
have a
I
motion?
move, I move. Let's give them the money.
Second.
And there's a second? Thank you. Thank you. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Anne,
Aye.
and I also approve. Moving to our further financial business, the 2021 appropriation transfers. Kelly?
So every year when we get to at the end of our budget year, we have to make sure that in our appropriated accounts from the Department of Local Government Finance, that our appropriations match our expenditures. So we are asking for, in this net zero in the budget, we're asking for the board to approve a move of $646,000 in various categories that are listed on the resolution for Fund 100, and which is the general operating fund. And in the LRF fund, we're asking for a movement of $913,000. And it's listed on the resolution to move those around to bring negative appropriations positive.
Okay, thank you. So do I hear a motion to approve the appropriation transfers?
So moved.
We have two moves, but one can be a second. Are there any questions about that for Kelly? Hearing,
This is just an annual event.
You do this
Correct.
every year.
So
It's a procedural.
Okay, then I'll call the roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Ellen,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and I also approve. Okay, then the next we are going to do appropriation encumbrances carried forward to 2022.
Because, as you heard earlier, we still have construction that is going on. We're asking to carry over purchase orders for construction into 2022 so that we can use appropriated funds from 21 and spend those in 22. Again, it's a procedural move. So we're asking for encumbrances of $1,672,000 in the operating fund for various line items, including capital outlays for buildings, on furniture and equipment. And then there are some for some additional materials such as books and database services to carry those over and make those payments in 22. And also another $1,040,000 in the LUR fund for buildings and improvements, construction expenses. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Well, then I will entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second. No questions. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and I also approve. Thank you all. The next one, Deb is going to explain to us the Hoosier Start Matching Plan for eligible library employees or
I think
employee.
this one is Kelly too.
Oh, Kelly. Okay.
So in the process of hiring some of these highly talented folks, we found that we had a few new employees that have been retired from the Public Employment Retirement Fund, and which makes them, when they're already receiving benefits, they're ineligible to re-enroll. So we started looking at things that could be comparable for them. So we currently offer the Hoosier Start Plan Estate Plan for $457. All employee paid opportunities. So we're asking the board to allow us with the individuals that are not eligible to be in PERF because they were retired, otherwise they would be eligible, that we set up a 3% match. It's all or nothing. So the individual would have to put in 3% of theirs, just like an individual into PERF, pay the 3%, and then we will match 3% into that fund for them. Any questions?
Can they contribute above the 3%?
Yes, they can contribute to a maximum flat dollar amount or percentage under the IRS rules that are set every year for 457 plans. So they could contribute above, but we will only match up to the 3%.
How many people would be involved in this?
Right now we have one.
Okay, we can afford that.
This is the first time that we've ever had one, to tell you the truth. And I will tell you, our match for PERF is 11%. So this is less. This is less expensive than PERF.
It also allows us, later on with the way this is written, if there's changes that you want to do a match for other employees, we can expand on that. But this is a lengthy process because it's a state plan. It goes through the state auditor, the state attorney general, and through a few other channels to get completely approved for participation.
Kelly has been diligent about following this through. So
There was a lot of work.
it will, if there was, yeah.
There's a lot of work to read it.
Well,
Thank you very much. for what
but
you've
now it's
done.
in place for anybody else in the next 40 years that we might hire this.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and I also approve. Thank you. Our last action item is the library board resolution to declare excess withdrawn library materials.
And we just have computers this month, I believe, unless.
On behalf of Christine, I move.
He moves to deal with the computer, right? And there was a list in there.
There was a
There's-
list.
there's
was a
the-
list.
I'm looking at it right now.
Are there any further questions? Hearing none. Sally,
I,
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry.
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and I also approve. Thank you all. Is there any other business to come before the board?
Want to do the oath of office?
We can do that afterward, Kelly,
Afterward?
rather
Okay.
than during an
I
official.
I have a question.
Okay,
And I'm not, I don't know if I ever know how much the renovation cost total, or do we know that? I'm sure you know what it is.
Off the top of my head, no. We can get that for you if they're. And we talk about this all the time, because if you start right from the beginning, we had all of the legal fees to get the bond issued. So
Right.
we've been spending on renovation or on this project for close to 4 years now. So to calculate everything into it, we're probably close to, we're around 40 million, I think.
That's it?
That's it?
is
Yeah, I
that
think
all?
so.
That's all?
I think so.
Wow.
The last time I
We
looked,
made for all of this?
yeah, the last time I looked, Marvin,
That's
we were.
You're saying
we were-
about 40 million?
We're sitting about 40 million. Furnishings were around 1.2. We had a signage package for 200. The elements, the children's museum elements in the children's room, all of the tiny town stuff, that was 300. You know, so that all goes into it. What you see on a regular board meeting is construction costs only. So that's all of the subcontractors and the contractors that Bully and Andrews is managing, as well as their fees.
So am I hearing 40 million or I'm hearing
40 million.
40, okay,
40,
that's different,
yeah.
okay. I thought that you said 3 million.
Oh, no.
It's like, okay, that's okay.
But if you want a
That's-
full
that's
accounting,
higher.
we can do
No,
that.
no, I don't,
Yeah.
that's too much money for me to spend.
Any other business or questions?
How did the furniture sale go?
Kelly? It was-
So it's pretty-
Yeah.
The main thing
So-
was just to do it and get rid of it, and then everything that's left will either go into a recycling hopper, or are we doing anything with Restore? Did we give anything to them? We knew we weren't gonna sell the shelving. It's all 90-inch steel shelving, and there's just
Place to put it.
there's nobody that wants it.
Okay, so I just had no idea. It was minor.
It was low compared to some other sales we've had. It was low, but we didn't think we had a lot of real attractive things this time. We're just trying to get rid of some of the odds and ends.
Next item is hearing of visitors. Do we have any visitors? No visitors, so there's no hearing of visitors. News and education items, Deb?
Nothing to report this time.
There was a nice article in the paper, not too long ago. It's been a while. It's probably been
saw-
as far as back as our opening, so.
I
Yes.
saw also and I didn't catch it because I was out of town, but Stuart Green, who's on the school board, wrote a nice letter to the Tribune about us and what a resource we are. So that was nice.
Well, with that, I will say that this board meeting, I would entertain a motion to close and tell board members that we will be exiting to a closed executive session, but our next library board meeting and our annual, is that also the annual board
It
meeting?
is, yes.
Scheduled for Monday, January 24th, 2022, probably right here, at St. Joseph County Public Library.
We may try to move you to the Buter Kernan event space in the new, we should be open by then. So that's the plan. You'll be in the Learning Center next month. And adult education will be in this space by next month. You may want to, we have you booked in the other room, but I don't think we have, do we have the capability to bring in Ann and Sally in the other room?
I,
Yeah,
we might be private enough if everyone leaves and we just make sure that
that's
the
what I was
doors are
wondering,
closed
if you
and
just,
locked.
if you just want to stay here. That's,
Okay,
just talk quietly.
we'll talk loudly enough for us to hear. So, oh, I have to have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Okay, let's do a roll. Sally,
Aye.
Marvin,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Terry, John,
Aye.
Ann,
Aye.
and I also approve. See you all next month. Thank you for your
Next
Kara,
year.